Hello, here I am again with another Charlton romance artist video, this time focusing on the artwork of Art Cappello. Art was a mainstay in Charlton romance books with a clean style, almost simplistic, and almost like an Archie artist. Here's a few examples of his work. I've got to choose one sister, but I love them both. The bridesmaid cried. That was how it was with Alex Cobb, my sister's new boyfriend. While he was struggling with that problem, what he didn't know was that one of us was really in love with someone else. Mona met Alex Cobb in Bermuda. She was there to forget, and I met Alex Cobb on at their engagement party in September. Darling, this is my younger sister, Denise. I told you about her in Bermuda. Denise is the brains in the family. I don't know which of you is prettier, Mona. That was the nicest thing you could say, Alex. Welcome to the family, Alex. Smack. I was being friendly. The quick kiss was intended to be a gesture, but when my lips touched his cheek, something strange happened. Mother and Dad are waiting, Alex. Stop staring at Denise and come on. I'm glad Alex is such a sweet guy. Mona deserves some happiness. She's been hurt before by Lou Rankin. She loved him very much. Then they quarreled. Lou left town and Mona went to Bermuda to try to forget. Though they'd met in Bermuda, Alex lived less than 100 miles away. He spent weekends with us, and he and I got better acquainted. You've got a lot of talents, Denise. Yeah, sure you do. I've got the brains, they say, and Alex says I've got talents. What I don't have, but I don't have you, Alex, and you're more important to me than anything else in the world. We came back towards the beach where we left Mona there, alone sunbathing. Alex didn't notice, but I saw her talking with someone. I can't, Lou. I'm marrying Alex in September. It's too late for us. It's Lou. Later, when Alex was out churning around the lake, I waited for Mona to mention Lou. She didn't, so. When did Lou Rankin get back, Mona? Is this the first time you've seen him? Please don't mention it to Alex, or even Mom and Dad. Why, Mona? They're bound to hear about it. They're bound to hear he came home, sis. They'll start hassling me. It'll be a mess, Denise. And it's enough of a mess the way it is. Some real drama going on there. Is Mona all right, Denise? She's just tired, Alex. Let's go over and get a couple of sodas. I don't want to go alone. I kept the conversation light, and Alex, as usual, was quick with the quips. We always had fun together. Mona doesn't spend much time with me these days, Denise. I seem to spend more time with you. She's either too tired or too busy. Am I all that hard to take, brother in law to be? I wasn't spying on Mona. It happened accidentally. When I went alone for a stroll in the park, I heard a low, happy laugh and then a voice. It was Mona. Oh, Lou, I'd forgotten what it was like to be with you. We've got to tell Alex. We can't keep this up. We love each other and we're together again. Someone has to tell Alex the truth. Poor Mona. She still loves Lou and she's supposed to marry Alex 3 weeks from now. Everyone's a loser. Lou loses Mona. She loses Lou. Alex gets a wife who doesn't love him, and I'm falling in love with Alex, so I lose too. I went ahead helping prepare for the wedding, hoping that things would work themselves out. But yes, oh yes, Star. No, I can't talk now. Of course, the usual place. That's Lou she's speaking to. Mona was transformed. Prettying up in a few moments, she invented an excuse for rushing out. Mona's a typical bride, almost in tears one moment, then laughing the next. If you only knew why, mother dear. Ding dong. Alex, we didn't expect you till tomorrow. Come on in. No, let's go out on the porch a while, Denise. I want to talk to you. I thought falling in love with, and getting married was the simplest, most natural thing in the world, Denise. I guess it is for some people, Alex. What's wrong? I I'm just not sure that this is right, Denise. I guess that shocks you, doesn't it? I don't know what exactly what I don't know exactly what you mean, Alex. I mean, I'm not even sure I love Mona as much as I did. I was sure, but lately I just don't know. Alex, will you drive me somewhere right now? It's important. I had a hunch where to go. I parked here with Mona one night, but why did you ask me to come here? You may hate me for it, Alex, but I've got a reason. Look in that car over there. Oh, Lou, I've got to tell Alex, but he's such a great guy. I don't want to hurt him, she says with her tongue down his throat. I don't get it. That's Mona. Is she with is it Lou Rankin? Yes. Let's get out of here. They didn't notice us when we drove away, and a mile down the road Alex stopped the car and you knew about it, didn't you? You brought me there to see him with my own eyes. Don't blame Mona or Lou, Alex. They've been mad about each other for years. And a woman in love can't help herself. How would you know about love, Denise? Have you ever been in love? Yes, but I don't want to talk about it. Then what makes then that makes me a double loser, Denise. I hoped. I mean, I had a feeling that Mona didn't love me. I became aware of it in the past few weeks, but I didn't it didn't matter so much because I wasn't in love with Mona either. Then why? Mona introduced me to you. You're so much like her, but in many ways so different. And I was looking forward to seeing you each time I came instead of her. Oh, Alex, Alex, darling. I was in his arms. When we kissed, it was a kiss of love, and our hearts melted into one. Straightening it all out was fairly simple for me, Alex, Mona, and Lou. But to our parents, it was bewildering until they became convinced it was all happened for the best. End. Next, for a laugh, this is an earlier story from Sweethearts number 117, 1971. It's drawn by Art Cappello and inked by Charles Nicholas. And it's just a goofy, stupid story. It's called Swinger Turns Square. I met this fantastic crowd on the first job I get after I finish my 2 years business course. That they're really wild, and I don't learn until it's too late. They're too much. That's it, Norma. You've got it, chick. This is fun, but my legs wobbly, getting dizzy. We better get her a doctor. Come on, chick, get up. It's just a put on. You want attention, but nervous exhaustion is one of the phrases Dr. Mullins uses. I'm hospitalized overnight and given a sedative. I spoke to Dr. Mullins. Nervous exhaustion, underweight, malnutrition. He says you need a long rest. I'll slow down, Dad, honestly. Look, I'll come and live home for a while. I can commute to the office. Oh no, you won't get a rest that way, Norma. You're going to take a leave of absence from your job and go and stay with your Aunt Madge in Pennsylvania until you're fully recovered. Aunt Madge, in that creepy small town where she lives? You used to love going there summers, Norma. It's quiet, and you've had enough excitement to last you a while. I'm 22. I don't have to do as they say, but in my heart, I know they're right about needing my rest. Pennsylvania, the Keystone State. You'll have your car there. I'll go back on the bus, Norma. Your mother and I will miss you. I'll be healthy and so bored I'll be miserable. I can stand it for a while, I guess. Aunt Madge's farm is exactly as it was when I used to come here summers, when I still had freckles, a brace on my teeth, and no figure to speak of. Pen, state flower, mountain laurel. She'll be terribly restless, Madge. She isn't all that old, Ted. Her fishing rod's in the barn. I'll bet she's fishing by evening and freckled in 3 days. It's like a return to childhood for me. Penn state bird, the ruffled grouse. So there she is. This inks by Charles Nicholas really kind of alter the character of the Cappello's artwork, gives it a more of an illustrative quality. Uh, I never cared much for Nicholas as an artist, but as an inker, he's really quite good. I'm finally beginning to unwind. Maybe this rest won't be so horrible after all. He sees me, but he's got enough sense not to make noise and scare the fish. You got him. Give him line. Don't let him throw the hook. Lost him. Knew you would, and I'm glad. I'm Lou Kleins. You're Norma Barlow. Want a sandwich? Dialogue. Lou Kleins. When I used to come here, you were the star athlete. Yep. Now I help Dad run his livestock auction Tuesdays and Fridays. We do a little farming too. And you let the rest of the world go mad, Lou. I can't change what's happening in other places, Norma, so I ignore it. Life here is still mighty pleasant. I know, in a way, it's unbelievable. Naturally, Lou and Aunt Madge are old friends, and Lou often visits, so I see a lot of him. Last few times I've come over, Aunt Madge stays out long enough to be polite, then she leaves us alone. Why? I guess Madge figures we'd rather have it that this way, Lou. I haven't rushed you any, Norma, but you're better now. I guess I am, Lou. I certainly feel better. Lou, do me a favor. Kiss me. Oh. The first time Lou asks me for a real date, he makes it a big thing. He comes for me early. Then we drive a long while before I realize we're going to the city, and we end up at the discotheque where I'd been when I collapsed. Lou, I can't believe it. I never enjoyed coming here. Boom, boom, rat, rat, rat. I telephoned your parents, said we drove in for dinner, and maybe we'd stop by to say hello before we drove back. Sound okay? Lou, you're wonderful. That's exactly what I want to do. But we take a moment before we get to my folks' house for me to say thank you with a little lip action. And finally, this story from For Lovers Only, number 72, from July 1973, is kind of unusual story for Charlton. It's an epic, 12 pages, and it starts out with a double page splash. a little Rob Liefeld action there. He can't draw her feet, I guess. The story's called Anne and the Golden Greek. Tom, Dick, Harry, Jim. It was always the same. I was bored. Bored with the job, bored with the life I was leading, and bored with myself. It was time for a change, to get away and find myself, and give some meaning to my life. I told Susan, my best friend, that I was going away for a while, maybe for good. She insisted upon coming with me, so we closed our bank accounts and off we went. We'll stay at Pompano Beach, Sue, at Sands Harbor Inn. I heard a lot about it. Anyway, that's where we'll start. It was good of you to come with me, Sue. I wanted to get away for a while myself. Besides, what are friends for? So here I was, sitting by the pool, but my popularity back home followed me to Pompano. My name is Paul Manilas. Are you alone? Yes, and I prefer to remain alone if you don't mind. That's good enough for me. See you around, miss. When Sue came down, I told her of my brief encounter with Mr. Manilas. She almost turned green with envy. Paul Manilas, the Golden Greek? Golden Greek? What do you mean? That's what they call him. He's the Greek millionaire. Oil, plastics, casinos in the Bahamas, ships, you name it. His family owns it. Oh, then I missed my opportunity. I missed my golden opportunity. No pun intended. That evening, Sue had a date, and I wandered off to the harbor from the harbor room for a quiet dinner alone. But, we meet again. Mind if I join you? You are persistent, Mr. Manilas. Well, I guess it'll be all right. As Paul Manilas started to speak, his conversation was witty, and he appeared well informed. He displayed real polish. And what do you do, Paul? Some people call me a gambler. I try to be a very good gambler. Oh, Paul, what a waste. You're so intelligent. You could succeed at almost anything you chose. I think I could too, Anne. And so I'm a gambler. I stopped discussing it. He wouldn't quarrel with me about it. Instead, he asked me to dance. Perhaps he's not really a gambler. Perhaps he only means his family owns a gambling casino in the Bahamas. Oh, wow, Manilas, you're fantastic. You ain't seen nothing yet, baby. I feel lucky tonight. Let's fly to the Bahamas in my private plane for a little gambling. And just like that, we were touching down in Freeport, in the Bahamas, to be whisked off minutes later to one of the casinos. I never even, I'd never been close to gambling in my life. Now I was amazed. Paul rolled dice, played cards, roulette. It was all so fast. It seemed all so complicated. You mean you won $1,600 just then? It isn't much, Anne, and might easily have lost. Is this what you do, Paul? You don't have a regular job. You don't work regular hours. Bite your tongue, woman. I have a talent for gambling and for falling in love with very, very beautiful women. Smack. And we may be falling in love, really in love. What kind of life would I have married to a professional gambler? Is another unusual aspect. The pages go landscape. And you're the loveliest girl I've ever known. And the sleepiest, Paul. I've had a long day. I think we better fly back to the mainland. Nonsense. My family owns this place. I'll get you a room and we'll have a breakfast in the morning. Then, if you like, we'll take off to the reef for a swim. I'm sorry, Paul, but my friend Susan is back there and she'll be worried. Don't fret over it, Anne. I'll have her brought here as sort of a chaperone to put your mind at ease. Paul Manillis, you're too much. Paul sent his flame for Susan and my luggage. When she arrived, she thought the whole thing was so terrific. Wow, when you said back home you were bored and you wanted to change, you meant it. I like him, Sue. I've never knew of a gambler who didn't wreck his own life and everyone else's. All my life I've dreamed of meeting a Paul Manillis, and when I do, I discover he's a gambler. Getting involved with him will ruin my life. Next morning, Paul was very charming to Susan. Susan, are you coming out to the reef with us? I'd love to, Paul, but your pilot said he'd show me around the island. You two go ahead. I heard some people talking about sharks and barracuda, Paul. Aren't we taking a chance swimming off the reef? Very few people are ever bothered, Anne. We've got the odds on our side. Paul seemed to reduce everything to probabilities. He'd take a chance swimming in shark infested waters because sharks usually don't bother swimmers on the reef. I'd really like to go back, but I don't want Paul to think I'm a coward. So we swam, and it wasn't long before my fears were justified. Oh my God, a shark! I wonder if Paul has seen it. Paul, where's Paul? There he is. He sees him. Paul moved in front of me. He faced the shark alone. He's distracting the shark so I could get away. I climbed in the boat, panic stricken, over Paul, but in a few minutes he surfaced. Paul, are you all right? Quick, get in the boat. That's exactly what I'm going to do, sweetie. You saved my life, Paul. Well, with you going one way and me another, we confused him just long enough for us both to get away. But I put you into danger to begin with, Anne. I'll never endanger your life again. Don't feel that way, Paul. I gambled, Anne, that no man-eating sharks would be on the reef, and I was wrong. Right now, you might be dead or terribly mutilated. I had no right to take such a chance. It's all right to gamble with things that aren't too important, Anne. But when I shoot dice or play roulette for money, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. I know the odds. I usually win, and I don't play for more than I can afford to lose. Gambling on your life is different. I had no right to do that. We went back to the hotel. He left me while I bathed and changed, and then returned to take me to meet his family. My grandmother runs things. Uncle Spiros manages the investments. I handle advertising and public relations. Then you do work, Paul. Important to you, isn't it, Anne? Yes, I work too. You enjoy having people think you're only a gambler, Paul. I never gave much thought to what people think. I enjoy gambling. It's a great diversion. I've made a great deal of money doing it. It's wrong, Paul. Later, grandmother, this is the young lady I mentioned, Anne Seeley. Anne, my grandmother, Mrs. Barbici? Barbici? So you're the young lady who has poor Paul talking to himself. Welcome to our home. How do you do, Mrs. Barbici? My grandson seems greatly attracted to you, my dear. Do you feel as strongly about him? I I could, Mrs. Barbici. I've always believed a gambler, like a compulsive drinker or a drug addict, they can't help themselves, can they? You're quite correct, Anne. Paul, you have misled our young friend. Anne, my grandson is not afflicted in the way you fear. If he were, I would not permit him to associate with us in this business. Anne, if it really matters to you, I won't ever gamble again. Can I believe you, darling? Yes, Anne. I care more for you than roulette or dice or any other game of chance. Far back in the dark corners of my mind, a tiny voice whispered a warning. But when Paul proposed that night, I stopped listening. and I heard only the strong voice within my heart which shouted out my love for Paul Manilus, my golden Greek. Heart, 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 smack. The end. Well, what do you think of Art Cappello? I enjoy his artwork well enough. He's not flashy or really impressive, but he's a good, solid artist. And if you like this video, like it. And I'd love to hear any of your comments or anything you have to say. And if you want to subscribe, that'll be okay too. Okay, thank you.